Alright, let's see what we can do here. First off, we're going to start by drawing a circle. So we're going to go C for circle. We're going to make that circle a diameter of 2. And put that circle in there. Then next to that circle, we're going to do a polygon. POL is a shortcut. We're going to make it 5-sided. Actually, I'm wrong. We're going to do a polygon. We're going to do it 6-sided. And we're going to pick our center point right over here beside our circle. Doesn't matter if you make it inscribed or circumscribed. All we're going to do is pull it up here approximately the same size as our circle. Something about like that. Then next, we're going to come over here to the side, and we've done a few of these already. We're going to make a little star shape. It does not have to be anything perfect, so don't waste a lot of time doing a perfect star. And again, make it approximately the size of our circle and our polygon. If you get it a little bit larger, as I did, you can scale that down just a little bit. Sure, that's a little bit better. Next, oops, I did not want to move it that way. Next, let's do, and we've done this one before also, let's do a little W shape. We want to put some thickness to this W, and so we're going to do it like this. This is so we can make it a solid, and there we go. Okay, so now we got those shapes drawn. We are going to region those shapes together, REG. Come on, AutoCAD, work with me. There we go. Region. Really doesn't look much different besides when you hover over there, all one object. But if we turn on our conceptual view, we see that they are all shaded, and that tells me that they are a region. They did work correctly. Okay, from there, let's go ahead and do a copy of these things. And we're going to do 2 copies of it, so we have a grand total of 3 of these. All right, so there. We're going to twist this up in 3D. We are going to go scale. We're going to pick our first one to scale, our circle. Or I said scale. I am so sorry. We're going to extrude, EXT, extrude our first one. Now, what we're doing here is we're really looking at some of these options of the extrude. So first, we have the direction, the path, the taper angle, and expression. We're going to look at taper angle first. So we're going to go T for taper angle. Now, notice how this tapers up, and you can kind of change it a little bit by moving our mouse around. But actually, what we're going to do here is we're going to type 10 to do a 10-degree taper angle. So we're going to type in 10 and hit enter. And now notice it's tapering at a 10-degree angle, and it'll taper all the way up until it comes to a point. And basically there you make a cone. We are not going to make a cone. We're just going to pull up there and taper it a little ways, something similar to that. Okay, we're going to go ahead and extrude again. Going to pick our next one. We're going to go T for taper angle again. We're going to accept that 10, so we're just going to hit enter one more time. And again, pull this up to where it kind of is a similar height as the other one. Okay, something about like that. So you see those two work pretty nicely. So now we're going to go ahead and do this again. We tried this during one of the classes the other day. It did not work well for the other shapes, so that's why I modified this assignment a little bit. So I'm going to extrude again. I'm going to go T for taper. Now here, notice it disappeared and it gave me a little error code. What you can try is you can go ahead and try the 10 for the 10-degree angle, and you still might be able to pull it out. But notice I pulled it too high, and it errored out. So I'm going to try this again. I'm going to go extrude. There, I'm going to go T for taper angle. It disappears, but I'm going to hit 10 and hit enter. And notice it'll work, it'll work, it'll work, it'll work, it'll work, it'll work. But if I pull it just a little bit too high, well, basically once these things go together, it errors out and then it's no longer there. You can go ahead and click there even though it errored out and kind of guess where it's at and still get it to appear sometimes, not always. On there, you're not going to be able to pull it out the same height, so just make it a little bit shorter objects there, and that's going to work fine. So we're going to go extrude again. There, T for taper angle. Hit in our 10 degrees. Oops, I hit an apostrophe there. 10 degrees. And, oh, it errored out again. We're going to try it one more time. 10. There we go. And there I got it. Oops, I did not get it. And it kind of errored out again. All I'm trying to show you there is when you have nice figures like this that are nice regular figures that extend up or taper evenly all the way around, they will work much, much better. These other ones, if you couldn't get those to work, I'm really okay with it because I'm kind of showing you the frustration of trying to do awkward shape or thin objects and kind of the way that airs out. If you have thicker objects like this, they really work pretty good. Okay, so now we got those extruded and with the taper angle. We're going to go ahead and do this one more time. Extrude. Going to pick our object. This time we're going to do T for taper angle. This time go in -10 and notice what it does for the angle. It just comes out and it makes them thicker or taper out instead of taper in. Go ahead and go down through there and do all of these the same, similar heights to what we did before. You will notice on the stars or on the other shapes that are awkward shaped, notice how much better those work, or how they actually do work when you're taping them larger, because that's because they don't overlap with each other. Where they have the error is where they actually overlap with each other and where it has such a big issue. And again, you should be able to get all those to work. So there we go. All those worked well. Now one thing I did notice is, or thought about as I was doing this, we should have made one more copy of these things. So go ahead and copy these down one more time. So you had a grand total of 4. And now let's take a look at our last one. Or our last 2 things we're going to do. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go to the front view. From the front view, we're going to go ahead and do an arc. Now when you do this arc, what I want is, I want an arc that goes slightly to the side, not a real heavy arc like so. Go slightly to the side, approximately the same height as my other objects here. And I'm just drawing this over to the side. Now the other little tidbit is this arc here, I don't want it coming out of this. We're going to actually extrude our object on this, or our shape. So here I want to pull this over so it basically comes almost straight up and then arcs to the side. Don't put it like this to where it's really going to curve out of the side. This portion of the arc should go basically straight down. Hopefully that's making sense to you and you can kind of visualize that a little bit. So something kind of like that. Sure, arcs to the side just a little bit and that's great. So now we got that one arc made. Notice kind of made it in a weird position there. It's really not where we wanted it to be, per se. I'm going to go ahead and copy. First one, I'm going to copy to the center of the circle, to the point somewhere on the other shapes, and there we go. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and extrude. We're going to extrude the first one. We're going to extrude it on a path, P, and pick that path to extrude it on. We're going to extrude the next one, P for path. And extrude it on that one. Extrude that one. P for path. And extrude it on that path. Extrude. P for path. And extrude it on that path. Now, with these, if it errors out and it does not extrude on your path for some reason, more than likely, I'm going to go back here in my front view, more than likely it's going to be because your arc that you have here is too sharp of an arc. It's curving over there too much like that. And the object overlaps itself if it tries to follow your arc. So you're just going to have to curve it a little bit less to make it work. And more than likely it'll work. If you struggle with it a little bit more, ask me and I can help you out with that. All right. Next. I just thought about one more tiny tidbit I wanted to show you. So we're actually crazy. I know. We're going to make one more copy of these things. And really on these, it just needs to be the last 2. So we're going to do that. All right, so let's come back to the front. On this one, now what we're going to do is we're going to add a couple more objects to this. We're going to add a little short piece of line, something like that, to the end of that arc. We're going to add another arc. Come on. Not working for me. Arc. There we go. Going to add another arc here. We're going to bend it back in this direction a little bit. Sure. And maybe one more arc like so. Now, notice those arcs I did. How beautiful is this joint where they connect? It's not. It looks horrible. So I'm going to highlight it with my grips. Grab that. Ooh, now look at that. How much more smooth of a transition is that? That looks nice. And up here, we're going to do a very similar thing. So there we go. Now, I have a much smoother arc there, and that looks nice. So now, with this, we're going to go ahead and do this in this step now and not wait. This arc, notice, is made up of, or this segment of arcs and lines is made up of an arc there, a line here, an arc, and an arc. When you extrude something on this path, it's going to just go to the first object. It'll just do that first arc like we did before. I'm going to smooth this out a little bit more too. Just going to do that first arc like we did before. The path has to be one all object, all one line. So when we did this before, we would have went region. And you would have regioned that. But if you try to region that, it says 0 region is created. Because remember, to create a region, it has to be a closed object, something like this. But that's not a path we can follow, so that doesn't work. So you have to use a different command. The different command is called polyline edit. And the shortcut for that is PE. Polyline edit, PE. So PE, we're going to pick our first little arc. It's going to tell me that's not an arc. Do you want to turn it into one? Well, yes, you do. So you're going to hit enter. And then you're going to go J for join. Join option is right there. For J for join, or click there. And you're going to select all of those arcs. Hit enter. And enter again. And now if you click on that, notice, it's all one object. It selects it all as one. So it joined all those arcs together, so it's all one. Now, once again, we're going to do like we did before. We're going to copy. We're going to copy this to the center of the circle, to the corners of the other objects. And let's see what we can do. Let's extrude on a path. Extrude that on a path there. Beautiful. Extrude that on a path there. Extrude that on a path. Oops. Extrude that on a path there. Not extruding. We're going to look at that here in a second. Extrude that on a path there. All right. Last two would not extrude on those paths. The reason is the path is a little bit too sharp of a corner somewhere with that shape, probably in here, that it won't do that. A couple different things you can do. You can straighten out your path a little bit, or you can scale your object down a little bit smaller. So let's scale this W down. SC with scale again. I'm just going to make it 0.75 times as big. There we go. And I'm going to type in 0.75 again. And now I'm going to extrude once again that on a path, and there it works nice. Extrude that on a path, and again there, that one looked and worked really nice. So there I've got all of those fine things extruded there. All right, for our last little thing, we're going to go back to our front view. I'm actually going to use this exact same arc. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go explode and break that back apart. Remember, explode is X, enter. It breaks that back apart. We've exploded a few things earlier, I believe. And I'm going to just take it back to that first original arc. And once again, I'm going to copy that arc. This time I'm going to copy it to my last two objects, the center of that one and the corner of that one. And now I'm going to show you how you can combine things together. So we're going to go extrude, EXT. I'm going to pick our object. And now here I'm going to go T for taper. And we're going to put a 10-degree taper angle in there. And now I'm going to go P for path. I'm going to extrude that at a 10-degree taper angle on that path. And notice how it does that and brings up tapers and on a path at the same time. Now what I want you to do is experiment until you get this down to where it's to a point on the end. Just to a point. Don't shorten it up a lot, so I'm going to go undo. So 10-degree taper angle was not enough. So I'm going to go extrude again. P or C, T for taper. This time I'm going to try a 15-degree angle. And path, and do that. Still not to a point. So I'm going to go extrude again. T for taper angle. P for path. Or right, T for taper angle, sorry, 20. And then path. Ooh, it's so close. I'm going to pause the video and I'm going to get it right. And I'll show you what I want. Okay, so I did get these both extruded out to where they're to a point. Ended up with a, I think, 23-degree angle on this one, or taper, and a 21-degree taper on this one. Now, last thing I want you to do is always, we're going to put these in an isometric view. But with these, like this, I really got it so I can't see those real well. What I want you to do is go to the top view and rearrange these so they look a little bit better. I'll show you that here in a second. Okay, you see I put the really curved ones in the back. The outside taper one's here, the next one's here, and